At last.
All right, hello. So, welcome everybody. Apologies for being tardy with my time and being a bit late. It was a bit of a nightmare slashy snow drive home up here in Scotland, so apologies for that. And then had to find the login details. So good, great to see so many of you joining us. Feel free to keep the camera on or camera off, whatever kind of you prefer. I'm just going to find a way around this and see if I can mute everybody quickly and easily. So I don't know how things have changed with the kind of login details and the rights as to who's hosting it and all that kind of stuff. So just going to see still have that kind of still control over it, sort of thing. No, I can just mute myself. That's not going to be too handy. Cool. I see most of you are on mute already, which is perfect. Thank you very much. Cool. That's perfect. So, right. Let me see if I can share my screen. Where did? It's not what I need. I'm trying to find a way to, there it is, perfect. Totally see I'm still completely useless at this. Okay, I've got a couple of you on my top right corner. And yeah, is everybody, for those few I can see in the video, those who got the video on, can you just give us a quick thumbs up that you can, one, hear me okay, and two, see the PowerPoint taking up most of your screen. Perfect. Perfect. Thumbs up. I like it. All right, cool. So, yeah, welcome everybody to your Energy Fitness webinar. For those who haven't met me before or know much about me, my name is Tim, and obviously I'm generally a lot more organized than this, so I do apologize. Everything's sorted. Yes, and I'm a nutrition coach, and I have a belief that food should be enjoyed, that we should be living liberated lifestyles. I do not like the feeling of my clients or anybody feeling stressed and anxious and guilty about eating foods. I'm all up for being lean and athletic and confident, all that kind of stuff. So that's the philosophy of my kind of coaching and what my kind of company is all about. If you have any questions or thoughts during or after the sessions, feel free to come find me on Instagram or the kind of website, either or. And that's it. Absolutely delighted to be back after the few sessions we ran end of last year, as well as last week's session around goal setting over resolutions. And then obviously we got this one tonight about how to lose weight and keep it off. And then next week, we have a brutal review of most common diets. And then the fourth week, we'll have a bit of Q&A. So if there's anything that you have a burning question or desire about any of the sessions that I've done, or if there's still something that's kind of on top of your mind that you'd like to sort of, talk about or address, then feel free to either get in touch with me directly or get in touch with me.
Type your reply above this line, and I can't type anything on it.
Okay. That's it. So it's going to be a pretty kind of impactful sort of 25, 30 minutes worth of this week. I've got a PowerPoint to kind of keep my structure with, as I did the previous 4 sessions. So hopefully I'll not be going on too many kind of rants and tangents and stuff. I'll keep to the core focus. And that's it. I believe yourselves have now got an on-demand kind of service going as well. So feel free at your leisure. If there's anything that I'm kind of talking about, will be recorded, will be available.
I don't think I can.
On-demand service. Okay, so 4 sessions are 25 to 30 minutes long enough to get quite a lot of quality and quite a lot of information from, but hopefully not too long to lose your attention, shall we say. All right, so let's just jump straight into it. Really, really appreciative of everybody giving up their time, peak time as well during the kind of week. So yeah, let's just jump straight into it. All right. So essentially, how to lose weight and keep it off. That's the big $1 million question, okay, that we're going to cover the next 25, 30 minutes. So
your mic is not on.
yeah. Right. So a couple of objectives. First, I'm just going to move this out of the way, Craig. Give you an insight into how to create a long-term and sustainable means of weight or fat loss, okay? Long-term and sustainable means. And then, back on here. There we go. Help you avoid common mistakes that keep you in the diet culture cycle. And lastly, provide a clear 6-step plan to take you forward into 2021, okay? So the idea is for this session and for 2021, that this year will be the last year that you're going to have to do any sort of diet or any sort of nutrition approach, because when you take into a few sessions and a few points that we've kind of raised and a bit of the coaching that we're going to do, hopefully we're going to step away from diet cycle, from one diet to the next diet, to the self-blame, to self-sabotage, and give you some really clear guidance as to how to ensure that the weight loss that you're going to have in January, February, March is going to, stay off, and it's going to be the last time you're ever going to have to think to yourself, I need to lose a few pounds, kind of thing. Okay, so diet culture is the problem. Okay, it's my big enemy. I'm not a huge fan of diet culture for a number of reasons. Right, let's jump straight into it. First of all, 90 to 95% of diets fail. Okay, they don't keep the initial weight loss off for longer than 6 months. So that either means that you're going to need to keep hopping from diet to diet to diet every couple of months to lose the same 5 pounds. And you're not going to find one that's going to keep it off for long term. All right. So essentially, diets fail. And that's probably why, if any of you are sitting there now, have done a couple of diets, it's probably why you've done more than one. Because you've tried one, it's not really worked. You try another one, it's not really worked. Try another one, it's not really worked, and et cetera, et cetera. Okay. 1 person out of 10 will keep their initial weight loss off for the long term. Okay. So if you're a gambling person, a gambling man, gambling woman, 1 out of 10 is not really great sort of odds. Okay. In my humble opinion. It encourages a diet cycle environment. It also encourages disordered eating, where it creates a emotive effect of feeling anxious, guilty, and you start labeling foods as good or bad, weight gain or weight loss. You start stressing out about catching up with your friends. You start stressing out about friends' 30th or 40th or 50th birthday parties. You start stressing out about a day out at the park and everything else. It's not a great place to be. You do not need to have a clinical eating disorder to have disordered eating. Okay, there's a clear kind of difference there as well. So anything that makes you feel a bit guilty or anxious, that is a disordered eating kind of mindset and environment. And going from diet to diet to diet, shameful foods and superfoods and all this kind of stuff, it's just not a very nice place to be. It's not a great lifestyle to be kind of living from. It leaves participants and yourselves frustrated with self-blame and low self-perception. Because what happens is that we never really blame the diet. We always end up blaming ourselves. I didn't sort of stick to the restrictive 1,200 calories, or I didn't, because I snapped and I had a bad day. I ended up having a bagel that turned into a packet of Pringles and a couple of chocolates or something like that. It's all my fault. Okay, it's never the diet's fault. It's always like my fault. And that self-blame, self-sabotage, and poor level of confidence and self-perception is really quite damning. Okay, to ourselves, because it just keeps putting us down, essentially. So why diets don't last? I already kind of touched on this in a couple of points, but why diets don't last? Some of these you probably already know, so I beg your pardon if I'm really kind of going over stuff that you may already know or be aware of, but it's really good to get them all out in the open. Essentially, too drastic and too restrictive. Okay, when I started nutrition coaching, literally around about a decade ago, before really fine-tuning coaching fitness professionals, one of the guys that I kind of followed, one of the very first workshops that I attended, he said, if you can imagine anything like on a scale from like 0 to 100, okay, you always get a few coaches that will want to coach in the extremes, the 0 to 10 and the 90 to 100, okay? Anything that's really extremism or seems like overboard or a bit too much or whatever it may be, it's not generally the way they kind of go for literally everything in terms of training, lifestyle, balance, nutrition. It's really unsexy. It's really hard to sell common sense and a sensible approach. But generally, if things are achievable, if things are balanced, you know, and reasonable, then, you know, that's the kind of way forward. That's the most efficient, most successful, and best chance of you having anything that's going to succeed and last longer than 6 months. All right. So anything that says, right, cut out carbs, no carbs, right, that's not a good idea, right? That's not happening, right? Low fat, high fat, anything really extreme. Only have carbs on a Monday and a Friday. Only eat, you know, only eat before 8 o'clock in the morning and only eat after 8 o'clock at night, because fasting is the way forward, because fasting somehow reduces insulin and therefore insulin is fattening. So blah, 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 blah. Okay. Bunch of BS, absolute BS. Okay. If you don't know what BS stands for, message me and I'll let you know, but hopefully you kind of catch a drift. All right. It's not sustainable. Okay. Diets, so when I say not sustainable, I know some diet coaches out there will say, well, diets aren't really meant to be long-term, okay? And that's fair enough. Diets are a short-term thing, but you and I are not physique competitors. We're not, you know, professional, perhaps weightlifting athletes where we need to diet for a couple of weeks to make a cut. We want to be living, you know, in a lifestyle that we're happy with our body weight and our body shape. We have a little bit of shape, a little bit of curve. We're healthy, we're fit, we're strong, and we're confident. That's the most important thing, is that when we look in the mirror, and we think, yeah, man, you're looking all right. You're looking good. You know, that's it. You don't want to be wearing baggy clothes. You don't want to sit down on the couch and put a cushion over your stomach. You don't want to be only taking selfies from above because you're worried about there's 2, 3, 4, 5 chins that aren't going to come through, okay? That's what we want. So the short-term diet thing isn't really for us. It's maybe for a very, very small demographic, you know, professional athletes, physique competitors, bodybuilders and stuff. But for you and me, it's not really suitable. And this is the big one. This is the kind of big theme and the big sort of underlying sort of ethos throughout this kind of session, is that it doesn't focus on the root cause or the real problem. All right. And with any kind of problem, we always need to address the root cause. And sometimes we live in a society that just likes to add in additional control measures or add an additional hurdle, okay, instead of literally looking and addressing at the root cause. And we don't like to do that because 1, it's a bit harder, 2, it probably takes a little bit kind of longer, and 3, isn't as easy, or as what somebody on Instagram says, you know, you can sort of do and achieve in 3 weeks or 2 weeks, something like that. So focus on emotion and mindset, because everything we do, from what we wear to what car we drive to where we holiday to what movie we watch, everything we do is based on an emotive decision. Okay, most of our decisions are not logical; they're based on emotion. Okay, and clever marketers, clever influencers will always play on somebody's emotions and kind of fears. So we need to address why we're overeating. Why are we feeling low confidence? Why, you know, do we have the self-perception? And why do we end up overeating and seeking these kind of shortcuts as opposed to addressing the bigger picture? Okay, and no diet does that. Okay, no diet will look at your mindset or your emotion. All diet does is trying to get you to eat less calories, which is a fair point. You know, that's kind of how we lose weight. But how you're going to stay losing weight and how you're going to take control of your nutrition is by addressing your emotive and emotions and mindset. It creates instant anxiety and negative perception of food. Okay, diet is like that. Dun, 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 dun. You know, every time you say diet, it should be leading in with that kind of, you know, doom and gloom kind of, you know, music or vibe. I don't think anybody says diet and thinks glory, happy times. You know, woohoo, ice creams on the beach. Nobody thinks of diets when they think of that. When they think of diets, it's Tupperware stuff. It's weighing foods. It's missing out some food. It's going to miss out some carbohydrate. It's going to miss out some fats. It's going to, you know, what food am I taking out of my nutrition? If I need to do a diet, I know it's going to be something. Okay. So instantly it's a negative connotation. You say diet, you know, it's not a good place to be. We look into like things like stress hormones, cortisol and all that kind of stuff. You don't want to be pumping cortisol around your body as soon as you just think about a diet. All right. It's, again, you know, we want to be making our life a little bit more user-friendly, a little more easy, a little more liberated, a little more enjoyable. You know, we've got one life and things are tough enough as it is without adding unnecessary struggle, in my opinion. So it's not fit for your lifestyle or preferences. So compliance is low. And when compliance is low, consistency is low. And when consistency is low, success rate is even lower. And I revert you back to that initial stat, 90% of diets fail, okay? Because it's not suited to you, your preferences or anything like that. It's literally somebody created a square box and is trying to shove you through it, okay? Instead of creating a nutrition approach that suits whatever shape you are, all right? So apologies for this, but say if you're a rectangle, all right, for the better use of a word, say if you're a particular shape, okay? You need a diet that fits your shape, essentially, okay? 100 different shapes out there, yet what a diet is one particular shape. It's just a square, right? Atkins square, keto square, right? 5-2 square, intermittent fasting square. And they're all just these set structures, and they're literally trying to force, 8 billion people on the planet through the top 6 diets around the world, okay? So it's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's just simple as that. And when you have low compliance, then you're going to have no consistency. No consistency, no results, okay? That's the kind of logic side of things, okay? Cool, so let's move on. So next question, diets don't really work. We're aware of that. Now, when you ask the question, do we even need to diet? Do we actually really need to diet? Simple answer is no. No, we don't, okay? We don't need a diet. Society might let us to believe that we need a diet because that's all we hear, that's all we see. Anybody that's lean will talk about dieting and the struggle they've been through and the sacrifice and all that kind of stuff, and of course we need to make a bit of effort, we need to make the right choices, but it shouldn't have to be that difficult. And some people like to take that struggle and that like, woe is me, and look how hard I've worked for my, my six-pack and my defined legs and quads and stuff like that, but that's not what everybody kind of wants, So do we need a diet? No. So the question I would ask as a logical, pragmatic person is, if we don't need to do it, then why are we doing something that fails 90% of the time? Okay, go figure. All right. So the real question is, big pardon, you keep moving this thing. Why do we overeat? Okay, that's essentially problem number one as to why we might be carrying a little bit extra weight than we would like to, because we overeat and we consume too many calories consistently over time for our exercise and activity levels, okay? So consistently overeat calories for our activity, all right? If you perhaps maybe increase your activity through steps, through NEAT or through exercise, and you ate the same, you should be okay. You would lose weight because that counterbalances the energy balance. If you reduce calories, you keep energy the same, then again, the same thing will happen, okay? Just a very quick side note, what tends to happen generally around January time is that people will cut their calories, so start eating a lot less because they feel really guilty and think they need to adopt this struggle diet, of 1,200 or 800 calories. And then what they do is they go from having 2-3 weeks of relaxing and chilling around Christmas, New Year's, and then start hammering the body with lots of classes and lots of workouts and WODs and supersets and, lots and lots of stuff, because that's the kind of ethos, right? We need to cut calories and then we need to double our exercise. But generally, that's a recipe for disaster, because we're taking homeostasis kind of point of view. Now we're cutting our fuel to allow us to do these things, and then we're asking our body to do double the work, okay? If that deficit is too severe and too substantive, it's going to be completely unsustainable. So it's creating a slight deficit that's going to be manageable for your activity and for your lifestyle, okay? Hopefully it makes a little bit of sense. So first of all, mindset, I really kind of touched on this, just generally how you view foods, I beg your pardon. So, do you have a positive mindset about foods? Is there a bit of disordered eating mindset there? Are we scared about foods? Or do we have emotive triggers? Do we control our external stresses through life well? Are we even aware when we become a bit, emotive and overeat? So what is our mindset when we look at food? How do we perceive food? Do we see food as like a privilege? Do we see food as basically the things that make you fat? Or do we see food as a social thing to do with friends and family? So each and one of us will have our own perception. If I ask the 33 people on here, write me a sentence as to what does food mean to you, you'll come back with 33 different things, okay? Because depending on our environment, depending on our upbringing, depending on our friends, our family, and our past histories, we'll all have a different perception as to what the food is, okay? But food isn't inherently fattening. It's not bad. It's not laden with chemicals, because every food is a chemical, okay? Even water is a chemical, so everything's a chemical. And you'll figure out, if somebody asks you that simple question, what does food mean to you? You'll see for yourself whether you view it positively or whether you view it negatively. And the idea is that we need to shift that mindset from viewing food possibly as negative, bad, fattening, you know, an inherent stressor in our life, to something that is enjoyable and social, and is what's going to give you great skin. So what's going to give you, you know, really great hair and great nails. It's what's going to give you energy to do your classes and do your workouts with vigor and energy and all that stuff. Okay, it's all that stuff. It's the stuff that is going to nourish your body, right? Make your body work better. Better food you put in it, better it's going to work. Okay, so that's not rule number one, but point number one, pretty much. Confidence and self-perception. Okay, so again, this is huge. When I talk to kind of clients on a one-to-one basis, and I'm reading their food diaries and having a few discussions, it's really evident, like, I really focus on their confidence. If they have got low confidence, they will inherently make poor decisions because they don't value their body as something really worthy, right? Might sound a bit, you know, I don't know, a bit cheesy or something like that, okay? But if you value your body really highly, okay, you're going to give it the best food. You're going to give it the better food choices. If it's a decision between a takeaway meal that's going to cost you a $5, it's going to take 5 minutes, or a home cooked meal that's going to take you 20 minutes and cost you, say, 6 or 7 quid, all right? If you value your body higher, you're going to take that option of the home cooked meal that might cost you an extra couple of quid. Okay, invariably it won't cost you a couple of quid because fruits and vegetables, all that stuff is actually really, really cheap. Okay, so it's I had to use an analogy. It's like, say for example, if you bought a really nice pair of shoes, Louis Vuitton pair of shoes, or if you like cars, you get yourself a nice fancy car or whatever it is, you're going to look after it. You know, you're going to make sure there's no scuff marks. You're going to wear it in nice heels and a nice dress and wear it out, and you look after it. You know, if it's a nice car, you're going to wash it and wax it and blah blah blah. So if you have a higher perception and more confidence in yourself, you will look after yourself inherently better, and you will automatically make better choices. Okay, if you make better choices consistently, you'll be eating better foods consistently. You do that, you'll be having less high calorie, low satiety foods and more nutritious foods. Okay, so a huge point. Current lifestyle and language. So with confidence comes self-language. You know, how do you talk to yourself? You know, are you always putting yourself down, or you're always being really negative? Your lifestyle in just terms of like your daily habits. You know, is there 2-3 hours worth of TV every day? I know obviously COVID restrictions is a little bit kind of tricky, but you know, do you get out and about? Are you reading books? Are we you know, reading audiobooks, podcasts? Are we having good conversation with our friends about whatever, you know, politics, climate change, you know, whatever. Are we having constructive conversations about our children or about our friends and our family, etc., etc. So just that environment is really, really important, particularly the kind of self-language point. And a little trick and tool that I do with some of my clients is we have an A4 bit of paper, a line right down the middle, you know, negative, positive, and keep a language diary for literally just 24 hours, and catch yourself every time you have a damning, closed or negative word or comment or association with yourself. And generally it's quite scary sometimes how the negative will come up with 10, 15, 20 quite easily, and then you're left in the positive ones being sometimes even blank. All right, we start pumping the numbers across, we start being a bit more affirmative, a bit more positive about ourselves. All right, we start ending the day with thinking that about one thing that you really liked about yourself that you did that day. You know, so today it could be, oh, I really liked when you took the extra time to help the new guy at work. Okay, I really like the fact that you let 3 people out at that busy junction. That means, you know, it shows that you're really kind and really patient. Anything along those lines that's actually making you think, you know, I like the person I am. I'm a good guy. I'm a good woman. I'm a good, you know, man, woman, etc. Guy, girl, whatever. Okay, I'm a good person. You got to kind of big yourself up a little bit. Emotional state, really kind of spoke that about. So this is to do with like external life stresses, being aware of things that can impact your emotional well-being. Can you take that 10-second breath, you know, breath, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and calm down. Think about reacting to things. Think about controlling what you can control, especially with sort of COVID kind of going on and everything else. There is a lot of stuff that's going on that's annoying us that we can't control. All right. Now we can spend a lot of time for a bit of, moaning about it, bitching about it, stressing about it, getting angry about it, ranting on Facebook about it and everything else. You know what? It's not going to change much, so we need to focus on what we can control. And we can control our reactions to anything that happens to us. And that's a choice. So you've got to take that powerful choice to go, you know what? That's really crap. All right. That's really undeal. That's a pain in the butt. Okay. Now what? Are you going to moan about it for 2 weeks, or are you just going to get on with it and focus on what you can control? All right. You can't go to the gym for whatever. Yeah, fine. Trust me, as a competitive powerlifter and strongman, I am missing the gym massively. But what I will do is I'll start reading more books. And I'll go for like daily walks. Okay. It's not ideal, but that's what you kind of get given at the time. Okay. So emotional state, pretty big. It's these factors that drive us to choose to eat, to seek out comfort food if we have a low self-image of ourselves. Okay. So big kind of stuff here. No food is inherently fat gaining or fat losing or fat loss. So why do we restrict foods and label them good or bad? Okay. It moves along with removing the words diet, good, clean, bad. If we know we're intelligent, we're really smart, not one single food is going to make you gain weight. Not one single food is going to make you lose weight. So why do we even bother trying to do diets that are going to remove and restrict certain foods from our lifestyle? Because one of the biggest and simplest diet hacks or fat loss hacks that I give to my clients is imagine if you order a 12-inch pizza, cut it up into 6 slices. And if normally you eat all 6 slices, tell you what to do, just this one time, just eat 5. Okay. Just eat 5 and put 1 in the bin. What happens? You're eating less calories consistently while still eating your favorite foods. Okay. Less calories, not omitting food groups. All right. That's the way of the world. Okay. And if anybody wants to come at me with the whole kind of clean thing, you need to eat clean foods to lose weight. Here's a question for you. What do you do when your fat loss stores and you've eaten clean foods? Do you eat cleaner foods or do you eat less calories? Right? You eat less calories. So do that right from the start. Save yourself all the stress about good, clean, and whatever else kind of foods. Okay. We know what it kind of means, but it just causes a bit of confusion and adds to the disordered eating mindset that we're trying to move away from. So what do we need to do? Yeah, you might be thinking there, well, so very good. Rant on about 20 minutes and all this kind of stuff. Just tell me what I need to do, sort of thing. All right. So here we go. Improve our mindset and environment. No brainer. Okay. We've got to view foods better. We've got to change our environment and change our perception. Except we don't need to diet and acknowledge their shortcomings. Okay. So, if somebody wants to jump on a diet, if you want to do a diet, you're going to know now that 90% of the time it's just not going to happen. Are you really wanting to go through all that struggle when you're going to land back on the same page in 3 months' time? And sometimes if you rebound because you're being too drastic, you'll gain additional weight, like rebound weight, because your body's gone into a bit of a fat storage, fat gaining mode. Okay, whereas increases fat cell size, increases fat cell number. When you start eating normal amount of food back in, it's going to hold on to that fat so much more, and it's going to be harder to lose that weight again. Okay, that's why the diet cycle is something you don't even want to start. And if you have started it, you've got to try to get off it as soon as you can. Focus attention on being consistent. It's super sexy, non-sexy, but consistency wins the day. Okay, 100%. Great time frame and realistic goals for yourself. Okay, so if you didn't catch last week's goal setting and goals versus resolutions one, that session is based literally on that last bullet point. Okay, and I talk about how to create effective goal setting, how to make it time framed, how to use the what, how, and why of any goals. Okay, and make yourself build habits into a lifestyle that will be long lasting. So essentially, I want to leave you with, probably just near enough wrapping up time, leave you with your sort of 6-step plan. Okay, so if you want to take everything on board and jump forward, before I start this, you may possibly be a bit, not disappointed, but maybe a bit shocked that I've not spoken about how many calories to have and how much proteins to have, and are carbs bad this week, and what about sugar and insulin and good fat, bad fat, and all that kind of carry on. So I'll touch on a point here in terms of another session that we did a few weeks ago, But this is the kind of crux of it, okay? Because unless you address these 6 steps, and unless you address the emotion, your decision, your reaction to stress, your mindset, your perception, your confidence, unless those things are done, doesn't matter how many calories I tell you to eat, okay? It will not matter. If I tell you to have 2 grams of protein per kilogram, it tells you have 20% of fat. So it doesn't matter if I'll tell you any random number that I pull out of my behind, 1200, 1400, 1600, whatever else. Those aren't going to work, okay? You really need to this is the root cause. We need to dial down this stuff first before we think about consistently eating a little bit less calories and being a little bit more active, okay? That's pretty much it. Apply some really great goal setting. Look at the session that I did end of last year called the Fundamentals of Fat Loss. In that session, you'll get the more technical nits and bits about protein, carbs, and fats, okay? That session, as is labeled, Fundamentals of Fat Loss, gives you the more technical stuff, as it were, okay? This is the more kind of how to, or making sure that whatever you do is going to last longer than a couple of weeks, okay? So, side tangent there, but just had to kind of get that nice and clear for everybody. So your 6-step plan, I need to click, here we go. Oh, there we are. Lose the word diet from your vocabulary, okay? If it's going to cause you stress and anxiety, why do we have it, okay? Coming from, friends or primary school teachers and nurses, everything like that, from an education point of view, if something stresses you out and causes cortisol and makes you anxious, don't go there. You don't need that word. Okay, if it's a negative connotation in your life, bin it. Okay, bin it. Simple as that. Don't use it ever again. It's so simple. Focus on the fundamentals. Okay, hashtag fundamentals for fat loss. Okay, that was a session. I think it was the 2nd or 3rd session we did end of last year, and it should be and hopefully is on your on-demand service. Okay, that will give you, how much protein, how much carbs, etc., etc. Okay, the more technical side of things. Nutrition is, probably more important than training and exercise. Something I've touched on before as well in previous sessions. We don't focus on nutrition, and then we literally punish our body. We hammer ourselves. We smash our workouts. We kill our workouts. We do all sorts of things to our workouts, okay? But we need to pay attention to nutrition, 100%. Some people will say it's a 60-40 split. Some will say it's a 70-30 split. Some will say it's an 80-20 split. It's irrelevant. Nutrition is really, really important. The majority of our focus needs to be on the foods that we choose to eat, and then use training and exercise as something enjoyable, something that we want to do, something that's social, that gets us back in the gym, seeing friends again, gets us into the outdoors, and all that stuff. Okay. When you look at countries that have a low obesity rate, it's because they're active, they're outdoorsy, they're social kind of creatures, social demographics. Yeah, I'll leave that as that. Goal setting, create a lifestyle shift in 12 weeks. Last week's session, I talked about habits built into lifestyle. So another great session to try and catch up on. But think about changing your lifestyle, not a diet, okay? Implement some very simple habits week after week, where in 3 months' time or 12 weeks' time, you have created a very different perception of yourself, very different perception around food, all right? Different level of confidence. You're not using the word diet, and you've created a shift. Created a shift in, beg your pardon. Look at that. That's my screen. Where did it go? Very, very different person of yourself, okay? Very different kind of lifestyle. All right, so diets for the short term, lifestyle for the long term, okay? Simple habits that will change your lifestyle without literally going, right, you're on a diet, chuck all that food out of the fridge. This is what we're going to do. We're going to do 5 workouts a day and 20,000 steps a week, whatever else. Because if it just goes completely upside down and it's too drastic, again, it's not going to be just sustainable or consistent. Big your ass up. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say ass in this, but here we go. So big your ass up, right? Big yourself up. Build up your confidence and be kind, right? It wasn't that long ago. There was a lot of be kind out there to yourself and everything else. It's a tough time. A lot of people going through really, really tough challenges, so stop the self-sabotage. Stop being so harsh on yourself and so damning with that kind of language, when I talk to kind of clients who use words like, aim to, try to, can you, what if, and would you, could you, as opposed to more open language that's going to get people moving in the right direction than being really definitive with closed, damning language. And of course, stop comparing yourself to others, right? Your journey is your journey. Again, very, very boring stuff. Nobody wants to hear this, but it's the absolute truth, okay? You can't compare your lifestyle to somebody you see on Instagram who's really lean and shredded out, that's holding up a nice little product of, you know, buy this shake or eat these pills or eat this grass or whatever the hell it is, okay? It's nothing like that at all. We need to be thinking about our journey, our lifestyle. You know, we have families to look after. Are we working? Have we got different businesses? What's going on? You know, what can you do? Look at your lifestyle, your habits, your mindset, everything else, and set out your goals. And that's a big focus for the goals. It's your goals. It's not mine. It's not yours. You know, specific to you and what you want and what's most important to you. Is it confidence? Is it fat loss? Is it a bit of both? Whatever. Okay. Just stop comparing yourself to everybody else's kind of journeys. Give them a good clap and everything else, and wish them well as you would do. But don't think, oh, I wish I could be like that, or I want that. All right. Because if you hop onto different things, different training modules, different diet approaches, different things, you're never going to get anywhere. You need to kind of commit for a short period of time, and your chances of succeeding will be vastly improved. Okay, and that's it. So some free resources I always kind of put on at the end of the stuff. If you want to find me on Instagram, everything is off of that bio. So in the obviously Instagram bio, a link tree there. All that stuff is up there. I send out a nutrition newsletter roughly around about once a week. Obviously my website, a couple of webinars, YouTube videos there as well. The on-demand stuff you'll have access to, and I've got an ebook coming out as well. What every fitness professional needs to know about nutrition. All right, a 45-page ebook literally tells you everything that you need to know as well. So tons of resources that you're more than welcome to scour through. Objectives is to cover everything they wanted to do. Hopefully we've done that, given you insight into how to create a long-standing and sustainable means of weight loss, help you avoid common mistakes that everybody makes, or maybe you have possibly made in the past. And most importantly, it's all very well kind of saying all these things, but I need to give you, as any great coach will do, give you a clear 6-step plan as to how to move yourself forward into 2021. Okay, so with this session, hopefully it's given you a real bit of insight and some real good, some really great coaching. But please feel free to check out the goal setting webinar from last week, and then the fundamentals for fat loss one from the end of November, beginning December, whenever it was. Okay, those two ones will really work well with this one, go hand in hand. Otherwise, massive thank you for giving up your Thursday night. Hopefully you've enjoyed that. Apologies again. Thank you for being so patient, being a few minutes late. And yeah, hope you are well. Hope you're safe wherever you are, up and down around the kind of country, and staying clear of any kind of snow. Be kind to yourselves, be kind to each other. And if there's anything that you would like to hear about next week in terms of kind of diets or the Q&A the following week, then please feel free to get in touch with me, or obviously on Instagram, or get in touch with Energie Fitness themselves. We'll have a little bit of a chat in the next few days and sort something out to make sure that you guys get the most from these sessions. Okay, so thanks so much for having me. Let me know if there's anything you'd like to know. Hopefully it's been of benefit to everybody. And yeah, it's been great being here. Hopefully it's been great. And we shall see you soon. Hopefully see you next week. Yeah, same time, same place, hopefully. And that's it, really. Okay, so feel free to head off whenever you want. I'll hang around for a few moments if anyone wants to have a wee chat. But hopefully I'll see you soon, or see you next week. All righty, cheers.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
No problem. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Worries.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Thank you.
No worries. No worries.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. Really interesting.
Thank you. No problem at all.
I wonder, how do I find these webinars? I've not done any of these before.
Okay. Well, I've not seen them, but I'm aware that yourselves, or as an Energy member, you should have access to an on-demand service.
Okay.
Apparently they've been, kept somewhere in one of those big fancy clouds, where you'll have access to all of these, because all these webinars get recorded. So maybe just perhaps speak to your local club and see about access to these other webinars, and hopefully they should be able to help you out with that. I spoke to Marcus throughout the kind of week, and I think he's put on the 4 sessions from last year on the on-demand service, as well as last week's session. So because obviously it's quite difficult for everybody always trying to get on at the right time, you know, with family, work, classes, etc. So I think it's a really, really great idea just to put things there on a kind of on-demand library where you can go and view anytime that you've got free, go and see all the sessions that we did previously. So I'm not sure, I don't have access to that obviously, but I think if you speak to your local club, hopefully they will sort you out.
Maybe they're not answering the phone at the moment. There's no one.
Yeah, fingers crossed. But yeah, I was just pinging one of them a message or an email. But I did get an email from one of your other members to say that they watched one of my sessions from last year on the one service. So it's obviously up and running somewhere. Just where is the trick. And I'll even see if I can get that kind of link, and then I can put it onto the kind of bio as well. So everybody kind of knows where to kind of go. Maybe that's a good idea as well.
Yes, I hope I haven't, listening to what you said, I have tried these crazy diets, and as you say, they're just really pointless. Yeah. I like the calories in should be less than calories out, basically. So weights and so I'm doing classes.
Yeah.
Not dieting, but just, as you say, eating a lot of what is good.
Yeah, it's just about trying to find that little balance of making sure we kind of move enough, you know, we do enough of what we enjoy without putting too much stress on our exercise, just understanding that it's really about the lifestyle as well, about our steps and about our doing hobbies and just being really active. And then just making kind of sensible choices where we don't go overboard, you know, that we don't overeat just for the sake of overeating. We don't have those kind of binge gorges, and that we don't consistently choose high calorie, low satiety foods, because it's the high calorie, low satiety foods that are very easy to sort of overeat, and we overeat them, we're going to be taking too many calories. And so it's not because they're inherently fat gaining, it's just because they don't really keep us full, you know. So you know, it's generally just trying to adopt what I kind of talk to with some of the clients, like an 80-20 rule, you know. So it's 4 moderate to high nutritional value foods, so 4, you know, quality foods with 1 kind of low quality treat food. And as long as you work off a 80-20 rule, where you have 4 high moderate foods and then 1 low food, 4 moderate to high foods, 1 low food, you're going to be in a really, really good place, you know. So yeah, hopefully that kind of helps.
It's I think mine is just my age, really. Sort of, I've noticed if I eat the same, I'm putting on weight, but I'm not eating badly. I eat well, so that's my issue. It's just a battle against metabolic rates slowing down.
Yeah,
so
you know, but it will always be down to literally calories and kind of calories out, CICO, right? CICO. So as long as we kind of pay attention to that and think about trying to reduce calories, trying to increase the output without things being too drastic, then we'll definitely be on the right path. And making sure we just got the right protein in, having the right amount of fiber, just generally choosing really, really good foods without anything too drastic, and really focusing on that whole kind of lifestyle aspect. You know, what are we doing every day? Because everybody focuses on that 1 hour of exercise and training, but they don't really focus on the other 23 hours of the day, if you know what I mean. So, you know, or the other 16 hours that we are awake. So everybody's like, how many calories did I burn in 1 hour, right? Well, it doesn't really matter, because what really matters is what you're doing for the other 15 hours, you know, of the day. And that's where the lifestyle comes into it, as opposed to this overly stressful, what am I doing my workout? What's the biggest calorie burning workout I can do? And that constant, you know, heart rate monitor checking, 443, we're great, or 653, fantastic. You know, it's all about the whole lifestyle and food choices and everything else that make a big kind of impact.
I'm really good. I'm good there. I don't eat burgers. I don't eat much meat. So I'm good there. But I what you're saying, it makes sense.
Good.
I was getting into it, and then COVID happened. So
I've got a whole emotional baggage came along.
Differently. I do it for home now, organizing myself. So it's working, and I will find those videos. Thank you.
No worries at all. No worries at all.
Snow. My husband would be so happy. He loves snow.
We
don't have any.
Wins the race, unfortunately, but yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Well, maybe I'll catch you next week. So have a good one.
Okay, thank
All
you.
right. No worries. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye bye.